Hello viewers, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I've had several requests to read on spiritual matters. I started a series when I first started this channel called The Spirit Files, and people have been asking, where are the Spirit Files? And so I started thinking about what I would be reading on, the subject that I might be reading on, and I allowed it to come to me. And I'll be reading today on unity. Unity is hard to find sometimes. It's particularly hard to find when those have different views, particularly different political views from us. Politics, by its very definition, is division. And when and it can be personal too, unfortunately. When someone holds different values, when, what they're seeing is obscured from our view, and what we're seeing is obscured from their view, we can't find any middle ground, and so we don't have that unity. When I opened up to this reading, I got quite a lot of bird sounds coming forward. I had a flock of cockatoos fly past, and of course cockatoos are shrieking loud birds. They can be incredibly frustrating and annoying at times. Yesterday I was sitting in my backyard just overlooking the golf course, and I heard a cockatoo came literally with flew very low and right around my head level, and shrieked loudly as it went past. And I I'd looked up and I said, "I'm hearing you. You don't need to shriek so much." So mixed in with the cockatoos was also crow sounds, and of course crows come forward around, pardon me, change and transformation. So I'm feeling that those two things that happened right when I started this reading are very important. I also want to bring another aspect into this, and that is staying grounded and really focusing. I mean, that's saying, keep your feet on the ground, or I don't feel grounded today. That comes from actually that feeling that we have when we're connecting very strongly with the earth and with our environment around us. And I feel that when we have this division, we can open ourselves up to fear and unreality. We want something to be the way that we want it to be. And so we start to move into that denial, whether that is a subconscious method to fulfill our own agenda or not. I guess it doesn't really matter. But I do feel that this, the start of unity, where unity starts and indeed possibly where it finishes, is being unified with the earth, that we live on. I think it's as simple as that. And once we find that unity with self, we're then able to see more clearly what is obscured from our view when someone, for example, has a different politics to us, or someone in our family, our siblings, or even our children or our partner has a different view from us. So I think really the simplicity is the unity that really matters is the unity with the very ground that we walk on. So I'm going to pull the cards, having brought forward those intuitions around unity. I'm going to pull some cards on how can we achieve unity. I'm using my Good Tarot deck today by Colette Baron Reid. How can we achieve spirit? How can we achieve unity? What are the messages from spirit? I'll just cut the deck. How can we achieve unity? What are the messages from spirit? How do we get beyond those annoyances and frustrations with those that want to pursue their own agenda while we have our own agenda to pursue? How do we get to that unity? How do we find unity? How do we find unity? I'm getting go for a walk. It's as simple as that. When you're feeling frustrated like that, go for a walk. How do we find unity with other people? How do we bridge the divide? How do we see through what's obscured from our view? How do we come to an understanding of someone else's point of view, even though it may be very different from our own? How do we find unity? All right, so let's have a look. Okay, so straight away I've got the Hanged Man coming forward, which is interesting. I'm just going to... It always makes me smile when straight out of the gate Spirit brings forward a card such as the Hangman. This is around not being able to reach an agreement. This is an impasse. This is a stalemate. So let's bring the laptop down and see what else is going to come forward here. Let me just get some light on this. There goes my light. Okay, is that any better? All right. Okay, so we've got an impasse here in the Hanged Man. But the impasse is also an opportunity. What I've got here is somebody upside down, but this person is also looking up really at what has rendered this person in this position. So when we're at an impasse, it forces us to examine why we're at that impasse. The Fortune's Wheel, which is the karmic situation, and really I'm bringing this back to our own agendas, wanting to see our own agendas fulfilled. And the reason that we want to do that is because we're on a spiritual journey ourselves. No one else comes on that journey with us, although we have the karmic lessons from others, and particularly those that are closest to us. So I always think to myself that where the greatest trouble or strife is potentially where our greatest lessons are. Okay. The Nine of Wands here. The Nine of Wands. In other decks, this is around boundaries, maintaining boundaries, but it's also having the courage here. And in this particular deck, this person is carrying a lit star, the star we associate with hope. So when we're in these impassable situations, these situations where we can't find unity with others, we really need to, I guess, reflect and try and understand that other person's point of view. I'm guessing here that it's not so much of politics is a win-lose situation. Someone has to win and someone has to lose, and therein lies the problem. That's why it becomes so personal, because the person that loses then feels downtrodden, disempowered, restricted, and then it then goes back and triggers other situations where they might have felt like that, and the emotional cost of politics then becomes quite high. But this is also talking about putting up boundaries as well. So the boundaries that you're putting up are not firm, inflexible boundaries, but they are boundaries that understand where someone else's business ends and where yours ends, and not stepping over the two. So not taking on someone else's business, allowing them to have their views without getting personally involved. And while you're doing that, there is an element of reflection there to be had as well. But it's not, as I said, the boundaries aren't fixed. This is a gentle reflection here. And the Ace of Swords here is talking about a new clarity beyond the impasse. That there then becomes a new clarity within your own thoughts as a result of this impasse. Now, I'm feeling here again that this is all about, I talked about walking the earth, having unity with the earth, being grounded, understanding that this moving away from reality often occurs when we want something to be a certain way. And what is that based on? That's the fear that we won't get what we want, that we won't be front and centre. Um, and I hate to say this, well, I hate to say it, I won't use that word. I say this often, that what it comes down to is strength in love. This is the card of strength in this deck, but it also is the card of love. This is directly under the karmic wheel, and the reason that I say that this always comes forward, because it is the biggest lesson for us, that everything always begins and ends with the strength of love. But I'm also getting the strength is depicted with the person in this card actually taming the lion, or not even taming the lion, being at the same level as the lion. And I do feel that there are guideposts for unity around finding unity in the earth that we walk on, and in every living thing. The birds that flew over just before this reading were almost a sign to me that being unified with your own environment, your own immediate environment, will help you find unity with others. We've got the Ace of Wands underneath the nine of wands here, which is the card of boundaries, but also reflection in this deck as well. The Ace of Wands, I think when we establish those gentle boundaries, when we reflect on why the lessons are coming forward, they are karmic lessons to a certain degree. Well, in this reading, it's saying they are karmic lessons for ourselves and for others. We find that we can move forward again once we reflect, once we understand that unity is indeed a karmic lesson for us, a lesson around love and a lesson around the strength of love, that we're able to move forward here, because the Ace of Wands is all about starting again, new inspirations, new passions. And just to continue with this reading here, we've got the Ten of Cups. And again, this is around families. It's around those, it's reuniting with those that we are most closest to. I understand that in America and in Australia, indeed, not just in America, disunity can happen again over different family members having different politics. But it all comes back to the strength of love. And when we do that, things start to change very quickly, because I've pulled the Chariot here, which is, things coming forward very, very strongly and very quickly. It's interesting in this deck that the horses are different, and the person riding the chariot is masked. So that's telling me that often when we find that unity, when we're able to bridge that gap, when we're able to ground ourselves and understand and not move in that, towards an unreality because we want our own agenda fulfilled, that things start to change almost in ways that we can't see at this particular time. And we've got the Four of Wands here, which is the homecomings and the celebrations, but also the reunions with ourselves. And this is underneath these are all wands, all inspiration, all renewal, all reigniting our passions. So I feel that unity is a significant problem at this point in time, when our values are being challenged politically by the rise of the far right, and those challenges could be very close to home. I'm pulling what is hidden from us, is the King of Cups here, which is around love, support. It's also the card of families here. So the message is to come right back down to the strength that we find in love, not hate. To understand that these are potentially karmic lessons for us, and that one way to find unity is to find it also within the earth that we walk on, within what is around us, and that brings forward a unity to self. I guess when we're in the impasse here, what is needed is to understand why that impasse has occurred in the first place, and to understand why we're in this position. I guess nobody, in relation to political division, even the winner, never wins for long, because the nature of politics is that while we might have a winner in one regard, within 10 minutes there is another political issue that comes up, and another political argument, and another winner or loser. And so that cycle just keeps going and going, and I do feel that there is a karmic aspect. So the counsel of this reading is to ground yourself in reality, to unify with your immediate environment, particularly with the earth here. I'm getting a very strong message that there is healing to be found in the ground that we walk upon. And so I come back to when someone is at their most frustrating, when that cockatoo flew over my head, screeching in my ear, let them go. Let them go. And if you're unable to let that go, then simply go out for a walk and find unity with the earth around you, and rekindle that knowledge of what unity actually is. Because if you don't, and you keep moving toward disunity with someone that might have a differing opinion or challenge your values in any way, then you're going to remember the fight, and you're going to lose sight of the unity. So boundaries, again, very important. Boundaries. Don't get involved in other people's business, and don't allow other people to get involved in yours. Understand where your business starts and ends, and where other people's business starts and ends. And also, if their values are being compromised, if you think they're being compromised, it's really about their own journey, their own karmic journey. And, at some point, the realization will come to them. You don't need to force that. This is their journey, their business. Don't sit in their business. So I'll leave that there. That is the general messages coming forward around unity, how we can achieve it, some of the reasons why we have disunity, and why people persist in pushing forward their point of view, and really importantly, how we can achieve or remember that unified feeling when it is being challenged by those around us. Thank you very much, viewers.